The life given us by nature is short, but the memory of a well-spent life is eternal. A room without books is like a body without a soul. If you have a garden and a library, you have everything you need. If we are not ashamed to think it, we should not be ashamed to say it. Friendship improves happiness and abates misery by doubling our joys and dividing our grief. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. The authority of those who teach is often an obstacle to those who want to learn. While there's life, there's hope. Read at every weight, read at all hours, read within leisure, read in times of labor, read as one goes in, read as one goes out. The task of the educated mind is simply put, read to lead. Non nobis solum noti sumus, not for ourselves alone are we born. The life of the dead is set in the memory of the living. Politicians are not born, they are excreted. The face is a picture of the mind with the eyes as its interpreter. The shifts of fortune test the reliability of friends. To study philosophy is nothing but to prepare oneself to die. I criticize by creation, not by finding fault. It is not by muscle, speed, or physical dexterity that great things are achieved, but by reflection, force of character, and judgment. We must not say every mistake is a foolish one. Life is nothing without friendship. It is foolish to tear one's hair in grief, as though sorrow would be made less by baldness. It is a great thing to know your vices. I am not ashamed to confess I am ignorant of what I do not know. A happy life consists in tranquility of mind. Your enemies can kill you, but only your friends can hurt you. When you wish to instruct, be brief, that men's, children's, minds take in quickly what you say, learn its lesson, and retain it faithfully. Every word that is unnecessary only pours over the side of a brimming mind. Our span of life is brief, but is long enough for us to live well and honestly. The enemy is within the gates, it is with our own luxury, our own folly, our own criminality that we have to contend. What an ugly beast is the ape, and how like us. Freedom is participation in power. The function of wisdom is to discriminate between good and evil. Any man can make mistakes, but only an idiot persists in his error. Knowledge which is divorced from justice may be called cunning rather than wisdom. Where is there dignity unless there is honesty? Though silence is not necessarily an admission, it is not a denial either. Never injure a friend, even in jest. God's law is right reason. When perfectly understood, it is called wisdom. When applied by government in regulating human relations, it is called justice. To be content with what we possess is the greatest and most secure of riches. It is the peculiar quality of a fool to perceive the faults of others and to forget his own. Ability without honor is useless. A friend is a second self. What one has, one ought to use, and whatever he does, he should do with all his might. Time obliterates the fictions of opinion and confirms the decisions of nature. A mind without instruction can no more bear fruit than can a field, however fertile, without cultivation. We are bound by the law, so that we may be free. Diseases of the soul are more dangerous and more numerous than those of the body. We must not only obtain wisdom, we must enjoy her. Freedom is a possession of inestimable value. It is our own evil thoughts which madden us. Few are those who wish to be endowed with virtue rather than to seem so. Nothing stands out so conspicuously, or remains so firmly fixed in the memory, as something which you have blundered. To teach is a necessity, to please is a sweetness, to persuade is a victory. Dogs wait for us faithfully. Nature herself has imprinted on the minds of all the idea of God. Cultivation of the mind is as necessary as food to the body. I prefer the most unfair peace to the most righteous war. Trust no one unless you have eaten much salt with him. Endless money forms the sinews of war. History is the witness that testifies to the passing of time. It illumines reality, vitalizes memory, provides guidance in daily life and brings us tidings of antiquities. Kindness is stronger than fear. He only employs his passion who can make no use of his reason. A man of faith is also full of courage. In a republic this rule ought to be observed, that the majority should not have the predominant power. Memory is the treasury and guardian of all things. Cicero. The welfare of the people is the highest law. They who say that we should love our fellow citizens but not foreigners, destroy the universal brotherhood of mankind, with which benevolence and justice would perish forever. A mental stain can neither be blotted out by the passage of time nor washed away by any waters. To make a mistake is only human, to persist in a mistake is idiotic. I have always been of the opinion that unpopularity earned by doing what is right is not unpopularity at all, but glory. Here is a man whose life and actions the world has already condemned, yet whose enormous fortune has already brought him acquittal. Books, our unfailing companions. The mind becomes accustomed to things by the habitual sight of them, and neither wonders nor inquires about the reasons for things it sees all the time. The closer the collapse of the empire, the crazier its laws are. If you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won even before you have started. If you would abolish covetousness, you must abolish its mother, profusion. Neither can embellishments of language be found without arrangement and expression of thoughts, nor can thoughts be made to shine without the light of language. Every man can tell how many goats or sheep he possesses, but not how many friends. There is, I assure you, a medical art for the soul. It is philosophy, whose aid need not be sought, as in bodily diseases, from outside ourselves. We must endeavor with all our resources and all our strength to become capable of doctoring ourselves. Silence is one of the great arts of conversation. Liberty is rendered even more precious by the recollection of servitude. Thus nature has no love for solitude, and always leans, as it were, on some support, and the sweetest support is found in the most intimate friendship. The wise are instructed by reason, average minds by experience, the stupid by necessity, and the brute by instinct. I would rather be wrong, by God, with Plato than be correct with those men. The countenance is the portrait of the soul, and the eyes mark its intention. No power on earth, if it labors beneath the burden of fear, can possibly be strong enough to survive. The reward of friendship is friendship itself. Cicero was a scholar, statesman, and lawyer who lived during the Roman Republic era. He is widely regarded as one of the most influential figures in the history of Western philosophy.